time right here on KAC Radio, Cleveland's online inspiration station, where today we have one of the most hottest shows, none other than What's Going On with Lady D and the Anomaly, Sir John, with their special guest, Olivia. Take it away, Lady D.
It is a wonderful sunny afternoon, and we're live here at the Berkeley Airport, and we got a new guest in the house with a new show coming to the KZ family, internet family. And so, without further ado, we're going to get this show on the road. Welcome, Olivia.
Thank you.
And how are you this wonderful Sunday?
I am doing wonderful, and I'm happy to be here.
Excellent.
Greetings, Cleveland.
All right.
All right. Good start.
Okay. So, Olivia, why don't you tell our audience a little bit
Olivia
about...
Winstrom.
Oh, Winstrong. That's what I wanted
Winstered.
to get. Winster.
Yep.
Oh, we don't get that
Winstered.
right.
Like
Winster.
smooth, Winster.
Oh, there we go.
There we
Winster.
go.
So she gonna
There
stir
we go.
some stuff up now. Look out, you guys.
Getting the good news together.
All right. Well, she's Mrs. Olivia Winster will be stirring up good news, people.
Yes.
And it's going to be called Good Day with Olivia.
Good day with Olivia.
All right.
And what a good day it is today.
And that
Yeah,
show will be
absolutely.
coming in March.
In March.
In March, all right.
Every Saturday, right?
Every Saturday
Okay.
at 9 a.m.
Okay.
The show will be half an hour long.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that.
I am too.
Yeah, because we need some good news around town.
Yes.
You know, our news sometimes can get flooded with all the bad things that
Yes.
are going on, negative things. But there's actually always something, believe it or not, when there's a negative, there's a positive.
Right.
Always good.
Okay, so that's the beautiful part about it. So I would like for our audience to just get a little feel of who is Olivia.
Okay, well, I'm a Cleveland native.
Okay?
Professionally, I serve as an advocate for adults with developmental disabilities. I have a passion to serve people.
Okay.
I'm very involved with my community. Graduated from Notre Dame College, right in South Euclid.
Okay.
So, love Cleveland, and all of my work has been here in Cleveland. I participated in many programs, youth programs, growing up throughout the city of Cleveland. So I've been staying engaged pretty much my whole life here.
Okay.
Good.
That's awesome. So what is it about Cleveland that keeps you here?
This is
Keep you engaged.
Yeah.
this
To be
is
here.
this is home. People have served me here at home, and I'm called to serve Cleveland. On a broader level, yes, but why not start here? This is my neighborhood.
That is awesome because, you know, a lot of people are
Your
from
mission.
Cleveland.
Yes.
They go on, they do whatever it is that they need to do, and you will find some of them wind up coming right on back home.
That's right.
So as they say, there's nothing like home. All right.
This is in Kansas.
With those little shoes. All right. So, do you have family here?
I do.
Are you married?
I'm a single woman.
Okay. Look out now.
No. My son, my mother, my aunt. I have aunts and uncles here. So I do have a lot of family here in Cleveland. A whole bunch of cousins. I can't even go through the whole list. I have a lot of folks here.
Okay.
But majority of my family come from Mississippi. My grandmother moved up here many, many years ago. So that's how I ended up here. I was born here.
You were
Yep.
born and raised here.
Yep.
All right. That's awesome. Now, I want to ask you a little bit about the new show that we're going to be coming up in March.
Mm-hmm.
What we say about maybe mid-March you'll be
Mid-March.
on. Mid-March. People can listen
It's,
on Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
9 a.m.
Okay. And what type of show will the Good Day Olivia be about?
Well, on this show, we'll be highlighting all good things happening right here in the city of Cleveland.
Okay.
The purpose of the show is to inform, engage, and connect all of Cleveland. I want to identify resources that people may not know are available.
Okay.
I want to show people that they can reach out to their public officials here how to do that. Really get the community.
How to reach out and get an answer.
Exactly.
Get them engaged
Yep.
and be aware of what we have to offer and what services that are available.
Yep. And while pointing out all these services, promoting self advocacy, promoting change and progress.
Okay.
That is the mission I'm trying to fulfill with
Okay.
this show.
Great. And we have a lot of wonderful businesses here
Yes.
that are steady popping up, new businesses. So this is going to be a great platform. So if you're looking forward to being a part of Olivia, Good Day with Olivia show, can
Good
they
Day with
contact
Olivia.
you? Is there a number you want to give out? How can they contact to
Or Facebook.
Well, this is-
Facebook or,
People can email me directly
Okay.
if you're interested in being featured on the show.
Okay.
My email address is, and I can put it on the KZ website or KZ's Facebook page.
Okay.
But it's o.winstead. That's WINSTEARD @gmail.com.
Excellent.
You can reach out to me directly.
All right, so that's how you can be a part of Good Day with Olivia, new show that's coming up. We're looking forward to having it every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. So there's your weekly buzz.
Yes.
All right, now let's get down to some real nitty gritty.
Right.
First, now, we've got some things that's going on. And first of all, I do want to just send out,
To the people in Florida.
yes, the family and the folks, the friends, the students in Florida. You have our most sincere condolence
Welcome.
here from KZ Internet family. This is just awful that we have to have another mass shooting like this. What is the problem?
Well, there's two problems, I think. And just to start off, I think, of course, there is the guns availability to get guns. It's a problem. The loopholes that are there to allow these individuals to get these kind of weapons. Now, I might take it too far, but I'm also against, automatic weapons. I don't stand the need. But I think the other bigger problem, even more bigger than the gun laws, and people can have an ability to get guns and not going through a checklist. And, you got to go to a checklist to get medical. You got to go to a checklist to get a driver's license.
Right.
To get a gun? It's just ridiculous the checklist they have. But the bigger problem to me is mental health.
Okay.
That is the underlying issue that has not been talked about in this country. And it hasn't been talked about since the 80s when Ronald Reagan pretty much destroyed the mental health industry. So I think that's a bigger problem, and we have suffered from that from that time on and up to now. You can do the numbers before what he did to the mental health industry. You didn't have this. You have one every 50 years in America, school shootings afterwards.
So
Yeah,
I want to
whenever
ask
you have
you
the
because
5 years,
that's
7
been
years.
such a while. What was it that Ronald Reagan had in place that we do not have now?
What did he take away?
Oh,
what was
okay.
in place? There was a much stronger services were more funded. One, so that when a parent had a trouble with and saw that this child is going through something, saw that they were incapable, that they can go and call or whatever to their social service unit, and the social service can get involved. And if need be, they could either take the child out of the home and put them in its mental health institute. It wasn't for a week. It wasn't for 72 hours. It could be until the child was capable to take care of themselves. Now, that got rid of, because people were afraid of mental institutionalism. You had movies about it. One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest helped bring,
Right.
people were scared.
Right.
People were scared that people were getting lobotomized without their,
A lot of crazy things go on to
things
mental
do.
homes, you know?
Well, mental institutions.
Right,
They did
mental-
in the past, and they do, but at the same time, that was a minority. There was a small percentage of the greater help that was being done. You got to remember, we are human beings, And like a professor I had in college, Mr. Klausman, who I hold dear, used to say, you got to remember the sin factor. You can have institutions and build something in society to be all good, but there's always going to be the sin factor intervene, and you're going to take that as the grain of salt, But by destroying that fabric of the mental health industry that we had, that was publicly funded, not controlled by the insurance companies, and not controlled so much by the politicians, because it was really funded and part of the fabric. You had less of this. People saw something. They saw something about somebody killing, animals and just being ruthless. They called.
Yeah.
And it got taken care of. And the person got in the institution where they were supposed to be on, so they can get the help they needed, whether they took it or not.
Well, here's my take on that. It has to start somewhere. And I'm going to just take it all the way back to home, family.
That's what
settings. Okay.
But how can you take it back to home, family settings? For instance, this young man, he lost his first mother at 5.
Okay.
Then he's probably married. He had another mother. The father got financially, whatever. He eventually left, and I think he got put in jail. But the stepmother had took care of them all. Now she dies of the flu. Mainly, come to find out, she couldn't afford the medication.
Another issue with our system not being able to.
You know what, you guys.
It is. That happened in Texas as well.
You know what?
Look, you can say all you want.
I haven't said anything.
But you're about to.
Okay, but go ahead. Go ahead. Read my mind, John. Read my mind.
All right.
You're going to say
it
it comes
on
down
now.
to the individual. And it does come down to the individual.
Yes.
But at the same time, it also comes down when a child is growing up for those people around them to take care of them. If those people die, or we're on the west side, there is no one. So he's learning as it goes along. Sometimes it can be good. Sometimes it can be bad. Eventually, what happened to him, friends of the family took him and his brother in. They didn't really raise these people. They just took them in, and partly for the money they were getting from the state.
Okay.
Pretty much he was raising him and his brother on his own.
Okay.
Then he comes in contact with white supremacists. And they help to become like the gangs, his family. He's already an unstable individual who was supposed to be taking medication. As long as his mother was alive, he was taking his medication. He really didn't get into too much trouble.
So
She dies, that all goes to the wayside. What happened this February was in the anniversary of her death. She died this month.
Okay. Well,
It's a pure mental, it's so obvious. And it isn't that people didn't see anything. People did. They called.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that people ignored it. People tried to help, but they're not family. They're not in legal guardians. There's only so much you can do. He made posts on Facebook. The guy did the right thing. He forwarded to the FBI.
Mm.
But there was not enough information to go on.
So here's all these
A system, you have the services, but the services are underfunded. So they take a look and say, what is the least amount that a person would do? He fell through the cracks. Simple as that.
Paul Mooney,
The comedian.
the great comedian Paul Mooney, he's funny. He gives an analogy of exactly what you talk about. He says, when it is a black person who commits a crime, okay, guess what? He uses this example. I don't know. No. This is the white person. He says, I don't know why I shot up my school. I don't know why I shot up my family. Society says, oh, we need to look into this.
Yeah, it's an issue.
There's a mental issue here. Now, if it was a black person
It would have been different.
who shoots up a school, and he says, I don't know why I did it.
Click clack.
Well, you got 100 years to figure it out.
Again,
Right,
that comes
right.
about to a system that is broken.
But here's what's so sad about it. All these shootings were not done
No, they were done by white
African
males.
Americans.
Right.
All these massacres.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Well,
Come on.
right.
Is
Okay.
So is it only mean mental health for them?
No.
And
And
not
not for
mental
others,
health
right.
No,
when,
no,
when
no.
others do something
It
similar
brings to
that?
a light.
And feel free to
Now,
jump in
it does
when
bring
you're
to a
ready.
Jump
light.
anytime, Olivia.
Jump on
Olivia,
in,
come on.
Olivia,
And
because
then-
you work with the mental.
Well, special
with
Disabilities, okay.
individuals with developmental disabilities, which is separate from mental health. Now, a lot of them come with a slew of mental health issues because their inability to cope because of the developmental
Issues.
issue. That's right.
The challenges.
The challenges, exactly. But mental health, I'm no expert on the matter, but I think it ties into your emotional well-being. And a lot of people just, normal functioning people are unable to cope. So it sounds like this young man, there was a lot of despair, a lot of lacking, and maybe just not enough love in his life, and that ties in. Like, mental health is not just dealing with, well, yes, it's assessing what's going on with him psychologically, but that ties into our emotional well-being and even spiritual well-being.
Right,
Yeah.
which he didn't, always lacking. And you're right, there is a disparity of Afro-American, Mexican-American,
Yep.
Chinese-American, Asian-American would have done this crime. It would not been that they had a mental issue.
Well, you know what? That's how, and
But-
it's sad to say because that's how they view
That's how they view it.
different different ratio.
That's how it's
People-
rationalized.
Right.
Rationalized.
For each different group. Each different group is apparent. Like, you can't deny it. It's rationalized differently for different individuals.
Shouldn't.
But it goes back. It happens because of the same issue,
Same
emotional well-being, which does tie into mental health.
Health,
And I feel like that's a conversation that's shied away from. I don't know if people don't have enough information
Right.
about
Well,
it.
nobody wants to. So you right. It's not having information. I think a lot about it, and it's also fear. I think fear has a great deal why the big broadcasters don't want to talk about that. The real problem is a mental health issue.
Right.
They don't
For everyone.
want to go.
For everyone.
Yeah.
For everyone.
For everyone.
For
Because you
everyone.
never
That's
know.
my point.
Yeah,
For
because
For
see,
everyone, and it's a good point.
you
It is
never
fun.
know when an individual and they don't have to be mental, when one is on the verge of a breakdown.
A breakdown. Well, a perfect example is a guy in Las Vegas. They're still trying to rationalize. Maybe it was gambling. Maybe it was this. Maybe it was that. He was doing this. No, there was a mental.
Yeah.
There was a gun.
There was something
breakdown.
that was the driving point.
You know,
that
it wasn't
was like, that was
a
it.
gun deal gone bad.
Right.
No, this man cased this place for over a month in that particular room. He was having issues.
Yeah.
You don't know what kind of chemical.
And he had plenty of money.
You don't know what kind
Or
of chemical
chemical dependency.
dependencies.
Well,
people
here,
have.
and talk about chemical dependencies. Just look at a lot of the medication that they give you
Yes,
today.
yes.
They tell you off the front the different side effects.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, depression and things like that. So,
Right.
That's why it's so important to
So-
learn how to
well,
cope without the medication.
Yes.
So he was on that medication until his mother did, and then when she did, he stopped doing it because he wasn't paying for it. You know, so what was the ratification of him not doing the medication?
well, you know, it
The
seems like a
spiral
lot of work.
that it was sending his mind into.
We're in need for a lot of work here.
So, but I think Olivia hit it on the head. You know, it is for everyone who could take someone's life.
Yes.
There is something mentally, chemically,
Or spiritually.
imbalanced.
Yes.
Well, definitely spiritually.
Yeah.
That is upsetting, and it doesn't have to do anything with the color of your skin.
No.
It has to do with what's going on
Yeah,
inside
up here,
those people.
inside that mental.
So what do we do as a society?
So,
Yeah.
so here again,
Promote
as
love.
thank you. You have to let people know, and I don't want to get on a soapbox,
Okay.
but that God's grace is available even to you.
Yes.
You know, it's
Yes.
available to you. He can give you the grace not to pull that trigger.
Yes.
He can give you the grace to receive his help or go get help versus becoming a mass murderer. But
So how do we as a society make that available? It still comes down to the bottom line that we have to put it back in place, these safeguards that work
Well, there's two things in my opinion.
and modernize it.
there's two things like, I think we're going back like what programs may need to place. There's two separate things. We need to start with our individual selves. Start there and making changes at home with our own children, changing the way we communicate and making it important to connect with our children and let them know that their life is purposeful. They have people who care about them, and that's how we can begin to grow before the programs are established. Now it's
well, the programs are already there.
And see, that was my point exactly.
I know, but it goes down to how do you deal with someone who's been left behind?
But
this is the point. If you don't have a family,
Well, but John,
you don't have
John,
it.
but
I mean, you can say yes,
Okay.
bringing God's grace.
Okay,
But someone has to
but you
be
still
that
gotta
missionary
start-
to go out and look for
John,
that
no.
lost one,
If you
that lost sheep.
Okay.
Someone has to be that,
Hit that
and it
button.
has to be the community
Yes,
to
you know
do
what?
it as a whole.
Where is my
if you're in
anomaly
the community
button?
and you're
Yeah.
watching a kid do this to animals,
Anomaly.
Cut him off. Cut him
and you're
off.
watching the community do it to animals, be that grown up, walk across the street and see how you can be the help.
Okay, but
instead of watching.
but now let's hear some other views.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, John.
I'm sorry.
No,
Did you,
no,
okay.
don't,
The programs.
The program's
Now, this
after.
would-
We're talking about the individual. Like
hit
you were
that
saying.
button.
Okay, I just mute him.
Just mute him out. Come on,
Let's
Go ahead.
talk
come on.
about.
Start. You can do
No,
that.
you.
We can talk about the programs and then what I don't know how they work, but just making it available for people to be open with them. A lot of people are afraid to talk when you already don't have anyone you could connect with. It is hard to connect with this entity, this agency that's supposed to help you, and then who you feel may write you off. That's why it's important for these people in these positions of service who work in mental health to make it a more connecting experience.
More
for them.
advertising for them. They need to be
Well,
more.
advertising's not going to do it. You're talking
Yeah.
about what person with a mental issue.
Listen, let me tell you
They're
something.
getting advertising 24/7 in their head.
You know what? They run all these different commercials about.
Well, we're talking about the
blue
individual
pill,
who's sick.
the people who are okay. They run a lot of unnecessary commercials. I mean, some of them are just overkill on products.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean a yellow beans. Okay, they're selling something, but here's something that's major, like the mental. We don't hear a lot of mental health at commercials on television or on our radio or even on billboards. This
How to
stuff
get
needs to
assistance.
be visual and seen. Going back home to the table of the family, regardless if it's a single home or two-parent home. You have children there. Parents have a job to do, and that is having more bonding time with their children, not letting television and their cell phones
agree.
raise them. Okay, because you're not communicating, and that's where it lies. If I can have the trust
And it
to
also
know
comes down to the
that it's
community
okay,
as well.
but here,
If there's a child without a family, it's up to the community as
okay,
well.
the community
to
has
reach
a
out.
job, but still here at home, this child.
We're talking
needs-
at home.
Don't
We're
try
talking
to
about
overtalk
children
me.
with no
Hit
home.
the button.
Children without. So what you going to do with a child without a home? What are you going to do with the child without a home? Period. The child without a
Let me
home.
finish my sentence.
You're talking
please.
about people who have people.
Okay.
What if you have nobody?
Well, then, therefore, that's what the community is for. But I am
That's
not
the
talking
people
about
doing
that.
those crimes.
I am talking.
We're talking about those people doing those crimes.
people who are doing those crimes. It
You're
starts
going-
somewhere in the household.
You're going. There is no household. That's the
John,
point.
it leads up to if this child is not doesn't have anyone to sit down and talk to. Communication starts at home.
But there is no home. That's my point to
So
you.
therefore,
If there is no home,
I am
what do you
talking
do?
about the home.
But if there is not,
Okay, but if there's
Where do you
no
go?
home, then you have to go.
I think-
Yeah, that's where schools, if they're going to school.
he was going to school. He shot it up.
Okay.
So you're talking specifically about people who do have the family. You're talking about
Thank
what
you,
family
Olivia.
can do to help the children that they're
Help
raising.
right now.
I know
and then-
that.
and
I'm
then-
talking about the
But
individuals
but
doing these.
Right.
but
and
this
then-
is what my point is trying to
Then
get
we
my
can, I
viewers
think we can
But that's
address.
why we always put them at the
understand.
back end, and this is why these shootings happen.
understand
Well,
me
John,
again.
here again, people have taken prayer out of the schools.
Yes.
Prayer?
You know.
No, they haven't.
They don't even have prayer at home.
You're right,
Yes,
exactly.
it is.
But my point is, it is a mental and spiritual sort of can go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because if you have the spiritual upbringing, then that mental part of you will set some sort of boundaries on what you will and will not do. But if you don't have any kind of spiritual anything, and then all this stuff is coming at you and you have no way to set a boundary. No way to say, wait, I'm going too far, or wait, my thoughts aren't right.
Right.
Then it's too late. So yes, I agree. You have to see that. What I love what you guys said. You have to start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere.
And the best place to start is in the school. So maybe we can have a generation that's being raised up that will know that, hey, if I'm not feeling correct or right, I can go somewhere to someone and share. That's the start.
Yeah.
Now, people that are far off already, that may just be a lost cause.
No one's a lost cause.
At that point, where this young man pulled the trigger, there were no. I mean, the FBI. Wait, I take that back. The FBI knew.
They did know. I said they got something from Yahoo.
But you know what?
On YouTube.
Because I'm going to tell you something.
There wasn't not enough information.
Because they didn't classify him as a terrorist type.
I just find that interesting because I could be wrong. I'm no expert on the matter. Let me just make that clear. But people like for Child Protective Services, like as soon as they get something I'm not sure how that works. It just seems like matters like that get addressed so quickly. And then when you have someone to put a threat out there on social media is enough to address it, in my opinion.
Right.
Well, it went through a criteria.
It's
FBI,
serious
and
matter.
he didn't fit that certain
Right,
criteria.
he didn't fit.
They said that he was immediate risk to do something.
Do
So
you
they
know
pretty
what
much.
exactly he put? I'm sorry. Do you know?
He pretty much said he was going to shoot up a school.
That right there.
That would
Okay.
because as soon as when you go to an airport and you let bomb come out your mouth,
Just
they're
trigger
coming
words.
out.
Well, that's because when the airport, it's totally different. It is immediate reaction. So they're gonna. But what people say so much on the internet. So what they do, they have these filters or catchwords that the computer and then algorithms, and then it categorizes them as certain risk.
Now here's the thing that the government and the media doesn't want to see happen, but it's going to happen.
Okay.
Facebook, social media is becoming Big Brother.
Yeah.
They don't want that to happen. They want, ideally they would love it just to be a social platform.
Yeah, what it started out to be.
But as my bishop even taught today, he said if you look at the root of who started Facebook, this guy was a loner. He wasn't well liked, okay? And he started this Facebook thing sort of to make himself and others feel free to share. So that's what's the start. That's the root of it. So now what we have people putting fake posts. We have people, catfishing. We have people doing all kind of stuff that's not real. But there are those there that are posting their real hurts and their real heart and their real feelings.
Right.
And what's going to end up happening, folks, is that you're right. They're going to start filtering.
They already have.
They already have. Because I'm starting to see more and more.
They already have.
Because ever since the young man killed the guy here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Okay, which was a tragedy. Facebook has gotten more and more involved in taking things down that seem to be a threat to society. Free speech? Oh, you got free speech, but you won't have free speech on that internet.
Well, I don't think
they're going to have to have
never
trigger
had
words and
free
have
speech.
control.
Total free speech.
Yeah, you do.
And
Yeah, you do.
not really.
Well, let's talk about free speech. Let's just talk about that LeBron James.
Can we change
Speaking
that?
of
Let's go on some free speech.
Free speech.
And I'm going to throw this number out here because if our listeners want to jump in and feel like they want to jump in,
do that, and I'll post it
please
as
call 216-298-1554 because we finna get juicy. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about LeBron James. Okay, and
He should have never did it.
Okay, so let's. All right.
Well, going back to your free speech thing, hey, that was his. Hey, he had the right to say what he wanted to say. It was perfectly fine. I think a lot of us have grown up with this idea that you cannot, criticize the president, and that really came from the imperial presidency that started really with Eisenhower and those things. But before then, you got 100 years worth of president. People forget his job is to execute the will of Congress, not the people. That's not what it says in the Constitution. It's to be the executive end of the government, to execute the will of Congress, and Congress is to execute the will of the people. Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
No. Let me finish. Abraham Lincoln got manure thrown at him giving a speech.
Was LeBron right in what he said about the president?
Yes,
he was. It was
so
his
what
will.
did LeBron say?
What did
For
he
those
say?
that didn't know what he said, that's what I want to say.
Yeah.
What did the King James say?
Basically, they were saying
Basically, he was saying that
that the president of the United States is not a person who's worthy of that position. He doesn't motivate the country. They gave the analogy of like he's a coach, and basically he's the worst coach in the world.
he is.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's basically it's summed up. And he threw a few
That was his opinion.
Well,
choice
that's
words.
freedom of speech.
That was his opinion.
And that's his opinion.
And then the lady
And
from
there's a lot of
Fox,
other folks that
Fox
feel
News,
that way. Go ahead.
that Laura took it, talking about LeBron disrespected the presidency and the president and should shut up and dribble. He has no right to say what he want to say. The office, he did not disrespect the office of the presidency. He disrespected the person in it, and you have that right. Like I said, Abraham Lincoln had manure and trash thrown at him giving a speech through his presidential run.
Well, look what they did with President Obama. They disrespected
John
him.
Adams
They
was stolen.
wouldn't even address him as president.
Right.
So, I mean, come on.
So, what?
All
Fair.
right. Now, let's get on here with the Russian investigation. What's going on
what
with
do you
that?
think about LeBron?
Oh, we're going to talk about this, LeBron?
Well,
Yeah. Come on, Olivia.
maybe it was his right. He could say it. He didn't hurt the president. He didn't take anything away from him.
No.
It was just his words. He had the right
And he
to
has
say
a right
it. He
to
has
have
the
an
right
opinion.
to have an opinion. Everybody's not going to like the president.
And that's what a democracy is about.
Right.
Yes.
And Laura Ingraham had the right to tell him to shut up and dribble the ball.
Well, she said tribble.
Tribble.
She didn't say
Oh.
dribble.
Oh, okay.
So she done forgot what sport. I don't know what. Is that
Is that another language?
tribble? I think,
I don't-
isn't that from Star Trek? The tribbles, the little furry things? Well, anyway.
Don't get me going
she
there.
has to keep her show interesting. So,
Yeah, and she did.
All
She had to
right.
keep her show interesting, so
Yep.
she had to pick something.
Yeah.
All right, well.
But we may, just like we may not like her opinion. LeBron can say something, and America doesn't have to agree,
Agree. Exactly.
or the president.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly, Olivia.
Okay.
And you know what, Olivia?
Which is
that's
not
why-
disrespecting the president.
That's why I know your show is going to be a good show. Because
day, well,
I don't
yeah.
have to worry about a bad day with Olivia.
Absolutely not.
It'll be a good,
day with Olivia.
Olivia.
And good
We'll
news.
leave all the bad reporting to. We'll let the other stations do that. We want to highlight the good around.
Yeah,
And the
'cause,
positive.
Yeah, we do have some good stuff going on.
We
here.
Exactly.
do.
Yes. And speaking of good things, it is still Black
One of the
History
good
Month.
things, though, is you mentioned Cleveland is really, really beginning more and more around the world being recognized as a great city. So everyone, we live here, we need to clap, give it hands on our, pat our backs.
Go Cleveland,
It's a silent and
C-Town.
slowly growing, but even some of my Twitter followers and like I have in China and things like that, they like, hey, Cleveland, and they not like the Hard Rock or what's his name show. They're actually talking about how the city is
The
changing.
city is growing, yes.
Wait. You have
Yes, he does.
Twitter followers from the communist nation of China. So I don't think John is qualified, folks, to talk about the Russian investigation.
Oh,
Very
let's
much.
talk about the Russian
He has
investigation.
followers from the communist China.
Well, I got followers from
Sir
Russia
John
too.
is known. He is for now known all worldly.
No,
Okay,
not
yes.
worldly.
Even 45, he'd be looking at him too.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah. John has did something out there.
Okay.
My show is probably being monitored by the CIA
Yeah.
right
Right.
now and
Yes.
Secret Service.
And it's a
Yes.
good show. as
And
they
it's a
will
good
say.
show, so keep watching. Okay?
Talking about positivity.
Yes.
And don't forget, watch Saturday. Oh, you don't. You
Saturday
At
night
night.
Saturday
with
at
good
9
news,
a.m.
good news for
Starting in
Olivia.
March.
Okay, and now back to what's going on. Okay, let's talk about that Russian investigation. That was interesting.
Oh, it's the first start.
Kathy
I think
Rothenberg
that-
wants to know. She has a question.
Okay,
Kathy
okay.
Rothenberg James wants to know: Is it right to criticize our commander in chief?
Yes.
Is it right?
It is right.
Is it right?
It is right.
That's not
It
biblical.
is very right.
That's not
What
biblical. Go ahead.
makes it wrong?
What do you mean? What makes it right? As
No, what makes it
our
wrong?
country, as our country is a republic. I hate to keep on. People say we're a democracy, but we're actually a republic. And a republic is a forms of many. A republic means when it's necessary, that government takes on the forms it needs to do. Now, the commander in chief, unless you're in the military, and even if you're in the military, because our military are made up of free citizens who made the choice to be a service to
Okay.
other citizens. So they have a right, if they have a disagreement, you can say your disagreement. Now, do you have the right to disobey an order from your commander in chief? No, you do not. And if you're a citizen, you have a right, if you disagree with the commander in chief, to say, yeah, I disagree with you. And you have the right to vote his butt right out of there if you have the ability to do so.
Okay.
We have a caller.
All right, caller. All right.
Hey, caller, go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to What's Going On.
I'm loving your show. I'm loving it. For real.
Thank
Hey,
you.
my name is Ken Kennedy. I'm president of Kudra.
Hey, Ken.
Also, I got a sister station or a brother station
Yes.
across from y'all on Static Radio.
Yes.
But check
I
this
can.
out. LeBron James, a native of Northern Ohio, Akron, you might as well say Cleveland.
Northeast
Yes.
Ohio.
Yes.
Growing up in poverty, his mother was scuffling. I knew his mother while I was down there working construction in Akron, and she haven't had the best of luck. But she stuck in there, and she done the right thing and brung him up in the right way. And I think he served the right to speak what he feels. He's very passionate about people in this country,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
And if nobody can't see that, they don't have a heart.
Yes.
And you know the person that's leading this country don't have a heart. We know that. We can tell. I mean, I can understand the overpopulation of aliens coming in. I can understand that so much, but I can't understand it where you start disrespecting people that
People's humanity.
come here and do the right thing. You know.
Yeah.
But for us, what he said, you gotta believe it. You can see the passion on his face. If you haven't seen it, you need to see the whole thing. You
Yeah.
gotta cut where
Yeah.
they was talking from the beginning.
Because he was being
He's very
real.
passionate,
Yeah.
and every word he spoke about the former president, I believe he believed it, and I believe it. You can see it.
But you also
man
too
knows.
notice, but Ken, you also notice too that the president didn't tweet back.
Well, he was smart enough
Right,
this time.
right.
He
Right.
didn't tweet back. He didn't go after that citizen.
That's good.
Okay, like
Right,
Laura
right.
Ingraham had the right to do. I mean, Laura Ingraham had her right too.
Yeah.
She had the right to criticize LeBron's comments.
She did. She had to do something to
Yeah,
get
he has
somebody
the
to
right
watch her
criticize
show.
it, Right.
Okay.
But you know what? When we speak out, and I'm talking about we as a people speak
Yeah.
out, and one of us, we wrong in their eyes, you know, because
Right.
they want to protect this guy they got in office. I'm not going to blamely come out and disrespect him, call him out of his name and
Right.
all that.
Right.
But
That's not
you see what
necessary.
he is. You see what he is.
Yeah.
And I can't believe he got 8 followers when you can see what he is. That's hard to believe. I mean, I got some white friends. I love my friends, white, blue, purple. I love them all.
Right.
But I can't believe that they following this guy.
Well, he's tapped into certain emotions of certain people, and he doesn't even believe in his own followers, and they should see that, because those are the first ones, he has disappointed, or the first ones his programs have actually attacked.
Well, I guess that's what makes America
And yet
great,
they're still-
is that we have this freedom of speech.
Right.
Freedom
Freedom of
opinion.
discourse.
I wanna-
Freedom of
Yeah.
I
discourse.
don't want to hang up
Discourse.
because I got some people here standing waiting on me.
Okay.
I want to ask you a question. All right.
Sure.
This question is: have you ever, in your life, seen such a mockery of people calling themselves honoring this guy being the president? I mean,
No.
I was watching a sitting in Congress or something. He had visited them, and everybody got up and said, "Oh, it's a pleasure to serve you." And I'm like, "What's up with this stuff?" I mean, I never seen such a thing where they was sort of like they was almost kissing his toes, and I'm like, why is they doing this?
Which is not the American way. That's the whole point. It is a mockery. It is a mockery, Ken, and you're correct.
Ken, we thank you for calling. We're going to answer that question. Have a great one.
All right, thank
Bye-bye.
you.
All right,
No
thank
other
you.
president that has happened to, and it is a mockery of our system, because
No, it's not.
it is.
No, it's
this
not,
is
John.
a republic.
John.
The president
John, let me tell you
is
something.
the president. The president is supposed to be the executor of Congress' will, of Congress. Congress, the people's will. But more important, the president is the peer. The whole point about being president and the
If
republic is that you're
the Congress
above. You're
had
the first
treated
among peers.
President
First among
Obama
peers.
the
Okay.
way they treat Donald Trump.
Oh, God.
Did they treat
would be
Obama that way?
me.
Did they treat Obama
Only
that way?
Fox News.
No.
And a few Republicans.
Fox News did not treat President Obama in any kind of way of respect.
Right, none. They didn't give him no respect. None, zero.
And Congress
Zero.
didn't stand up and clap and kiss his feet when he came in. If I remember, the Republican half sat. Totally set. His
So,
first union,
right.
his first State of Union, someone even booed.
That's right. And called him a liar.
And called him a liar.
That's right. And called him a liar.
So we're losing our
So-
the
But that,
formal
and so-
business.
and so-
Obama's
my
not
point.
the only president that happened to.
Olivia, I'm
All our
talking to you now.
presidents.
Olivia, I'm talking to you now.
Okay.
That's why we lose the fabric of our country.
We lose the fabric of our country because we do not stay with the fabric of our
Next question.
Okay, well, you know what? Because of this type of thing that is going on, then you want to wonder why the country and the people are doing the things that they are doing.
No.
Oh, come on.
We
If the
have-
president
we
does it, why
have to
can't you?
remember, we want to be able to respect people in power. We do want to do that, but we have to keep in mind, like, they're not this grand being.
Exactly.
They serve us,
Mm-hmm.
and LeBron has every right to express how he's
dissatisfied with the service.
dissatisfied.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And back to the, I honestly, that hasn't even been the focus of our conversation, her opinions, because it's her opinion. Our focus has been on, is it right to say these things about your president? Why not? Like, nothing's been destroyed. That's just a part of
Being in
Being
a
a-
republic. You
Yes,
have to
and,
be-
and you know
American.
what? And you should be able to take constructive criticism.
you should, because if you
Constructive
can't,
criticism.
Yes.
then it's not a presidency. Is it correct to say a
di-
tyrancy?
a
A ty- well, I don't know.
dictatorship.
Yeah,
A dictatorship. It's a
dictatorship.
dictatorship. What you had is like if you were own a business, you had a customer who was dissatisfied with the service
Yeah.
and simply said so.
Yes.
You can learn something. You can improve.
Yes, and maybe you should heed to and listen to what people are saying, because everybody's not wrong.
And that's the difference between someone who's in it for their
Growth.
own agenda
Yeah.
and who's in it to serve the people. Because when you want to serve the people, you will listen to what they have to say, whether
Exactly.
you agree or not.
Exactly.
You won't spend your time defending yourself or rebutting everything.
Mhm.
You're going to spend your time focusing on the service you need to do.
Yeah. Yep. Yes.
When you're
Which
fulfilling,
comes back to why he's. I mean, they said he didn't do anything with the shooting in Broward County, Florida. He did tweet out something, and he did say something I thought was very heartfelt. But he's trying to ignore the matter, and because what? Why? This young man was able to get a gun because he took away those gun control laws
push that.
that Obama had in there that would have prevented the young man to be able to get a gun a block away from his high school. So he can't say anything because he's the person who removed the checklist that would have probably prevented that.
Next topic.
Okay, moving on. Okay, now we've got some beautiful things going on here. And it is still February, and it is Black History Month. So tell me what Black history means to you, Olivia. Enough for Sir John.
A time for me to celebrate who I am, to learn. Well, every day, we shouldn't just.
It should be a month.
It shouldn't be a month.
I agree.
We should be learning on a daily basis more about who we are. It actually learning about my Black culture connects me to American culture. This is absolutely totally American. Yep.
Yeah. So, I guess I got a question for all of you. Is it necessary to even keep on and saying Black History Month? Because there's not a Jewish and American month. It's not an Italian American month.
They should do it. Why not?
All cultures have different holidays and venues that
They do, but
embrace.
what is so do we?
And so why can't? And I think this is good. We should embrace this.
Is the need for Black History Month? Why is there a need to have a month and have it advertised as Black History Month? Is there a need? Because originally it was brought out so that people could see all the great things, not just Black Americans, but the majority, white Americans, could see how much Black Americans have gave to this society, gave to this nation, and really made the nation, because without us, either as slaves or the free Afro Americans, this wouldn't be the United States.
As time goes on, I think society will determine that whether. But right now, why not keep it? Why not continue to celebrate February as Black History Month? Why not? I think when times change.
But you don't think time has changed?
Time.
But then again,
like
it only has been as long as I've been alive that we have the right to vote.
Look, and
That's
this is
40
exactly
years.
what I was going to say. Part of us celebrating our history is part of the healing process. The celebration is part of that healing process.
So you say we're still in the healing process.
That's right, because there are people who are still alive who were witness to when all these injustices were happening. So this is still relevant to our generation, but as time goes on, maybe 2,000 years from now, maybe that'll be something observed of something that was observed in the past, and we could just appreciate our history as
All
a whole,
cultures.
right? Because eventually we may be just with all the mixing and whatnot that's happening. Maybe one day our cultures will be this blended.
It's always been blended in America.
But here what she's saying is.
Oh, I get what she's saying.
Okay, Jan.
But I don't know. I don't know what the future is going to look like. But
I
right
think
now,
that's a valid point. You know, it's time, because I hear what you're saying. We're still in the healing process.
Yeah.
And people keep on saying, well, you know, Black people have been able to do this and do this, but people don't understand that really, really, we haven't been able to, really, technically, legally, since 1970,
and
which is 47 years ago.
And we're still learning.
So we're still in that. It's a slow. History is a slow process, and we're still in that process of healing.
We have this celebration because we're still learning. Like we were ripped away many years ago from our land, disconnected from where we came from. So we're still figuring out our history, trying to identify who we are as a people. So I absolutely feel like Black History Month is still relevant right now. In the future,
It's so much. It really it's something that we really should embrace and continue on a daily basis, not 1 month out the year, because this is something again that's bringing the interfamilies to bond, to enlighten, and to educate, and to search one's past and know where you came from, So it may help you to know where you're going.
And you,
Yeah.
but see, here's something
Is that necessary?
that I think is interesting, and I don't know if it was Marcus Garvey or whoever suggested this. And I know that when you hear a white person say it, it sounds racist. But when they say, "Why don't you go back to Africa?" I mean, you've heard that,
Right.
and it's depending who say it, it's offensive. However, if you really, really, really think about it, most foreigners come here and get an education, and then they go back to their country, and they are doctors and they're lawyers or they're
Right.
surgeons, or they bring something to their country worthwhile.
Yes.
Now, here we are as African Americans. We were told that we were stripped from our country. You're told that they don't like you here. You're not treated equally here. You don't have the same things here. My son yesterday said, Dad, it's too cold here in Cleveland. I'm thinking about next year, me and the family moving to the South where it's warmer.
Okay.
Same thing. If you don't like it, why not move? And I mean that in many different ways. If you don't like the way you're being treated, you can always do something about it. You can come together. You can bring your dollars together. You can make a community. They tried it with Black Wall Street. Okay, that was defeated, but why haven't we tried it again?
Right.
Why haven't we brought together our dollars again and make a movement
Yeah.
for betterment for our people?
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's not in us.
Oh, I
It-
disagree.
No.
It just takes time.
We have became
wait.
so
We
I
have
person,
right.
a me person,
Exactly. This is what I'm saying.
selfish.
We-
a lot of us,
right.
yes.
A lot of us are, but again, when it's the time frame, it's history. You're trying to push and think things move fast, but it doesn't. It does not move fast. Question: the only country who has ever done their industrial revolution the fastest than any country in the world, you know what country that is?
What's that?
It's China.
Of
But
course-
to do
of course
that,
you say China.
hold it. To do that, and what people no, it's not communist. What people don't understand with the Cultural Revolution that Mao started, actually, purpose was.
Yes.
He knew that a certain amount of people had to die to be purged for the young to be able to break through.
Okay.
Our industrial
changing
revolution,
that mindset.
right? And changing tradition. So he purposely, systematically, scientifically went after. It happened over a 300-year period of time, mainly on the back of African Americans or African slaves. It took time. We're still then we had the brief time through the 60s, because you had slavery, then Jim Crow, then actually you would say the late 50s, started with the case with the school system. They really got the ball rolling, and people turning around, and the country saying, "Okay, we got to get taken there." And then Johnson in the '60s, and the voting rights, and all that. That didn't really go in effect into the '70s. It's only been 47 years. 47 years. Black Wall Street was wiped out in 1920 something.
I'm gonna tell you something.
So it's going to take a time for us to go as a society.
but I'm gonna tell you
to go
why we
through
don't-
those things. And I think we're going that way.
I'm going to tell you why we don't move out. You know
Okay,
why?
come on, Larry.
Real simple.
Why should we move out?
No, here's my point.
Okay.
We built this
Because-
nation.
Listen.
That's my point.
Okay.
Because it belongs to you and I.
Right.
Something on the inside of you tells you this belongs to us.
Wouldn't be
And you
no
know what that
Washington,
something,
D.C.?
and that something on the inside of you is God on the inside of you, letting you know you stay right here. This is yours.
Right.
I've given it to you. Like he promised Abraham back in the day, by faith, Abraham
faith.
believed.
Right.
We have that same ability on the inside of us.
Right.
That's why we don't move. That's why we don't leave. Because we are home. This is our home, promised by the Father. And that is my commentary, and I'm sticking to it.
And it's a good commentary. I agree with that. I remember in school, people saying that to me, and I remember going, "Well, why come you don't go back to Albania?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, my family, black and white, have been in this country on my father's side since the 1660s, before there was even a nation. Go back where?
Right.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? Go ahead, Olivia, because I want to
That-
talk about
that
some
would-
upcoming events that's going on
You know
here
what?
too.
Okay, well maybe we should do that. I was just gonna I was gonna say maybe we should talk about how people could get more connect. What are some things people could do to find out about the history, where they come from, ancestry.
Yes,
.com.
Ancestry.com. I love Dr. Gates doing that,
And our
And-
own Cleveland Public Library has things going on this month for Black History Month, but
Okay.
also about finding your ancestry. They have a lot of seminars and going on, so check in Cleveland Public Library.
Yes. Also, your churches, they're doing events. Your
All
local
of
churches
us.
are having, they're celebrating it.
PBS.
Yes. And you can learn about Kwanzaa, the 7 days, and the meaning of the candles. With that emphasize, because we talked about it today at church. My pastor Nash did that today, and it was very good. Also, they're building. It's like going to be a new Black History Museum for the locals here in town. Yes, it's the young lady presented it last Sunday in church, and
Wow.
Wayne Dawson, he's a part of this. So I'll get more information, and we can have them come on our show and talk about this. I
Well,
think
you
this
had a
is going
lot
to be
of
great.
great Afro-American inventors that
Yes.
came out of Cleveland.
Yes.
And that we still use their products to this day.
Yes.
Every time you stop by that stoplight,
And so our youth need to know this, and we should spend time and take the kids out and let them participate and learn more about their culture. Because we have a rich culture. We really do.
a rich American culture.
Yes. Okay.
And eventually, maybe one day, like Olivia says, we'll get to the point where it's not necessary to have Black History Month.
Because we won't have to remind anybody. It will
Yeah.
be fully accepted. Everybody will be aware. But let's let society decide that. But until now, I'm
Right.
still up for the celebration.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. All
That's what I
right.
like. She brings good days, even to our anomaly
But
sitting over there.
Well, it's been a great day here this Sunday afternoon. I'm glad we were able to touch on some of these topics. We will be back next Sunday, same time, same place, same channel. And be looking out for it in March.
Keep an eye.
Keep an eye out for
March.
because Olivia will be on with that good
Coming
news.
in, they're stirring that wind, because
Okay.
March come in like a lion.
All right.
She's going to tame him, though.
Okay.
present you some information.
Yes, and here we are with what's going on with Lady D.
And Sir John.
All right.
You guys have a safe Sunday.
All right, and we're going to just take you
Blessed
out with
and
some
safe.
Bob Ivory.